Practice number 4 in the books. Fortunately, weather forced the fans out of there. We were still there. We're going to tell you everything that happened. It was a little bit better today. CHGO Bears starts right now. Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast on a Saturday, special Saturday edition. The Bears practice, so we do a show. That's how it works in training camp. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman with you. Greg Braggs will join us a little bit later on with some of the fan perspective and your diehard questions since the fans were not at Hallis today. That's how the day started. Kind of had a feeling it would happen with a, weather system coming in. It has been weird up here in the Vernon Hills / Lake Forest area because I know it has like rained everywhere and there were like flash floods in some areas. It hasn't rained like a drop here, and it didn't rain at practice today.
Yeah, it was a beautiful day to be out at practice. Really disappointing for Bears fans. I know it's super hard to get training camp tickets this year, last year too. And if you only had today and you can't move that to another day, that's just really unfortunate. But it would have been, impossible for the Bears to have tons of fans out there. And then all of a sudden the rain that was predicted happens. Then what do you do? So that was too bad. But as far as just the Bears themselves today, a little bit was, I thought that perhaps some progress was made today, Adam Hoge.
That's not what you said while the Open was playing. Okay.
I'm trying to. I think there was progress in corners of the field. I'm actually. Hey, listen. I'm looking forward to giving you my best. It was a nice moment.
CHGO training camp coverage powered by Circa Sports Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Yeah, just off top before we get to the best and worst, like it just so fans understand, because I understand it is frustrating. The Bears have done honestly a tremendous job to even make training camp possible at Hallis Hall. When I started covering this team, there was no chance you were going to be able to have fans there. They've added on with more practice fields, more land, more facilities, more everything, more parking. And they still have to have fans park at the mall. And then that's a whole nother logistical thing. So when there's a possibility of severe weather, it complicates everything. And the thing is the Walter Payton Center is actually the shelter in place area. So if there were in a situation where there's lightning or severe weather or anything, the place they need to have all the fans go to shelter is also the place where they would like to keep practice going and keep things efficient so that they can beat the Vikings on Monday Night Football in week 1. So it's complicated. I understand where it is, but that's just kind of sort of the explanation. And then you have a day like today where it was raining pretty much everywhere. And then for whatever reason, it didn't really rain at all during practice. So that, it happens. The Bears are doing their best. I'm not going to criticize them for that at all. It's a tough situation. But it does suck for the fans that we're supposed to be out there today, especially on a Saturday, because that would have probably been a nice, loud, lively crowd with it being a weekend.
Crystal was fired up. She was ready to come on out. Of course, Crystal tends to get a little bit behind on the early morning situation. So she was not impacted because once the cancellation came out, Greg Braggs, on the other hand, drove 8 hours because he left at 3 a.m. because he's Greg Braggs. But I'm sure he had a great ride back home, and I think he's already played golf today.
Yeah, I think he's fine.
I don't think he's fine. He's definitely not fine.
All right, let's get into best and worst of today's practice. Again, practice number 4, closed to the fans, no pads. It was a 105-minute practice, and we saw some new people. Well, we saw the same people, just people do a little bit more out there. So my best is just that Colston Loveland, let's not forget about this guy. I don't know if you've noticed, but the Bears' top 2 draft picks Haven't seen him on the field much. It's almost August. That's not ideal. So getting Colston Loveland out there in what appeared to me like his first full practice. I don't know. Maybe there were still some limitations in rep count here and there. If there were, it was not terribly evident. He was in team drills. He got some reps with the ones. The first time he got out there with Caleb Williams in 7-on-7, he immediately ran a nice route. Caleb put it on him. The timing was perfect. It looked good. Colston Loveland looked as advertised today. We always say, like, we know what this is supposed to look like. That's what it's supposed to look like with 2 first-round picks. And oh, by the way, that's if there is one positive, I think, with the overall offense so far, because I saw this question on Twitter earlier. When Caleb is looking good, who's he connecting with? Rome Odunze a lot. So those 3 first-round picks from the last 2 years, a lot, when they're connecting, it does look how it's supposed to look, and that's how, at least first impressions today, because this is the first time we've seen Caleb Williams throw to Colston Loveland in a practice. It looked good, so that's good. And then another small little best in there too is that Braxton Jones also got with reps with the ones today and was back in team drills for the first time, and that was good to see. Although I will say a small little caveat on that one. You can see the atrophy in that left leg that he's dealing with. So
you noticed that?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
You didn't?
No, I didn't.
But it reminded me of when Kyle Long came back from his leg injury.
Interesting.
And you could see it, and it's going to be a process here, so you can understand why he's still limited.
I mean, he's got the sleeve on it.
He's got the sleeve on it, but he's obviously still got to build that strength back up in that leg.
That's a incredible Hoge attention to detail that I didn't know you had in you. Pretty impressive.
and then I guess the worst would also be among that left tackle competition. We saw Karan Amagaji lead practice today early. Didn't even notice anything happen, but all of a sudden I saw him walking off with a trainer, and he did not return to practice. Also, Doug Kramer got banged up in a drill today too, and also was unable to finish. But we'll have to see how that stands. And then meanwhile, you also had Darnell Wright get a rest day. So some attrition early on at the tackle position. Doesn't seem like there's anything major at this point, but starting to add up a little bit, and they haven't even put the pads on.
Well, and for Darnell, it's really a 2 rest day because they're not practicing tomorrow. It's a little recharge here early in camp for him. Bears said, or Ben Johnson said this morning at 8:10 in the morning that, and by the way, he'd already been there at 5 o'clock in the morning. Mark Potash, very early riser, Ben Johnson, as far as getting himself to work. He said the Bears, whatever the technology they're using to measure where a guy's at, it was showing up that Darnell was tired, so they gave him the day off. So Bears using technology to figure out who needs a rest. That's moving into the future in a rapid way.
Let me try to explain it a little bit. It's a preventative. It's a preventative.
Mechanism.
Mechanism. Let's go with that. So they can start to sort of see when. I don't want to even get into it. He said there's a formula they use, but you could start to see maybe a guy getting tired. Look, injuries happen when guys get tired or they start getting a little banged up, and then one thing leads to another. So this is a sort of a new wave in the last. I mean, it's been going on. I remember Northwestern even doing this back when I was,
Go
Cats. Yeah, where they started putting the GPS devices, where they're kind of wearing that undergarment underneath their jersey and stuff, and they can measure everything. So it's certainly not a bad thing. So for whatever they saw, they decided, because you don't want one thing to lead to another. So they made it very clear. Darnell Wright's not hurt. Tomorrow's another day off. I would assume Darnell Wright's back out there when they get back on the field on Monday.
X plus Y divided by Z means you're tired and you need a day off. And hey, it's early in camp. Protect your players from themselves. Give the Bears credit for that. My best on the day, you just touched on it. It was a Caleb Williams pass to Rome Odunze for a touchdown in the left corner of the end zone. Basically a jump ball.
Which Pat Finley illustrated very well in his daily illustration on Twitter. He even put the clouds in the sky that were sad.
That's a good job by Pat Finley, who's always doing a good job. Great new haircut by Pat Finley, by the way. Neck looks clean. Good job by Finley. Good job by Caleb. Good job by Rome. I'm looking for some comfort zones for Caleb, right? Because there's been a lot thrown at him. Who can he lean on when things start getting blurry out there? And that Rome connection, he went to him a lot last year when they needed a catch. He went to him today for a touchdown. He ran over to him. It was a big celebration. He let out a huge yell. He was enjoying himself in the moment. I asked Rome about being his go-to guy, and he said, well, of course, I want to get the ball in every single play, but we have a lot of guys, which is a vintage Rome comment. But look, that, as you're underlining, those two being on the same page and building a bond as two guys picked in the number 1 and number 9 overall would be huge for the Bears, and we saw it today. So I'm going to make that my best. My worst, and this is a little unfair perhaps, but and this dates back to last year, and it's fine. You don't have to want to talk to the media, but Montez Sweat doesn't want to talk to the media. He just doesn't want to do it, and it just doesn't come across well for a guy who's making a ton of money and is incredibly important to that Bears defense as far as impacting the quarterback. And look, again, nitpicky here, but when you're being asked to be great on every single play, you know, you can't sort of pick and choose when you're great. And a lot of other guys get up there and they might not want to be there, and they just do the deal and they get through it, and that's it. Versus sort of, you know, having a little bit of the surly act. And I just think for him to really be the Montez Sweat the Bears want, I would focus on being great everywhere. And really, you know, being max effort guy in whatever you're doing, and maybe he can really touch the maximum that player could be. I mean, Montez has had a ton of success in his career, not trying to take anything away from him. He's made a ton of money. But as far as being the consistent, dynamic, impactful player that the Bears need, I think there is another step for him to go, and it sort of was underlined for me today.
Yeah. I mean, some guys are just going to, it's just the reality of it. You're not going to have a 53-man roster full of people that want to talk to the media every day.
I get it. I get it. Not everyone's Cole Kmet.
Go get 10 sacks and nobody cares.
That's fine too. Sure. But you are coming off a year where it wasn't that. So at any rate, there wasn't a lot of down today. I mean, the offense could have looked better. It was scuffling early going, but it did get better as the day went along.
All right, I want to dive into a little bit more specific on what my best was, which was Colston Loveland, because I really feel like and rightfully so, we spent a lot of time talking about Kaylee. We talked about Ben Johnson. We're going to continue to talk about that connection and everything that is, in the grand scheme of things, what matters most. But on today, to me, what mattered most was that your number 1 draft pick this year, the number 10 overall pick in Colston Loveland, was out there and looked good. Let's not minimize that. It hasn't exactly been a great start to camp from the offense. So when we have something good like that to go off of, you guys know this about me. I am big on first impressions, especially when it comes to rookies in their first training camp. I think it matters a lot. I think it matters a lot that, you know, we haven't seen Luther Burden at all. For example, on the more negative side, I am worried about that. In Colston Loveland's case, we kept telling you while he hadn't been on the field, he had been there. We'd seen him. He was wearing a red jersey in the spring. He was out there. He was working out. He was doing conditioning. So when we had the opportunity to talk to Ryan Poles in his office on Hogan Johns earlier this week, he's like, I feel like Colston Loveland's close to be full go, ready to go. And today we saw that. Not only did we see him out there, we saw him making plays. I believe he had 3 catches overall, 1 in 7-on-7. The other 2 are in team. And I think 2 came from Caleb. 1 came from Tyson Bajan, I want to say. But they all looked good. The routes looked good. Seeing him go out there against ones in his first rep and get open right away with a sharp route, I think really, really matters. I think it's a really good sign. So, look, this is a team that needs playmakers. If Caleb Williams is going to go through growing pains, which we all expect this year, the more weapons they can give him, the more protection they can give him up front, the better. This is a guy who plays both of those positions. His role's mostly going to be to run routes and catch footballs and make big plays, but he's also going to have to block. So that's the next step in all this. When the pads go on Tuesday, I will be circling 84. I will be watching him to see how that shoulder looks, how his strength looks, how he blocks a Montez Sweat if he ever has to and he gets put in that position, because that's going to happen in the season where you're going to, just because of the way the personnel is on the field and the way the defenses adjust, you're going to have to block a bigger edge rusher. Can you do that? And it seems like Colston Loveland's more than willing to do those things, but I want to see it too. But first impressions today, outstanding.
Yeah, look, I came up with the Loveland song a couple of weeks ago. Love, love, Loveland. You didn't really like the song, but it was a great song.
Yeah.
You are our tight end. Please Be a 10, something like that. I forget the exact wording.
I'm glad I was on vacation.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal song. But look, everything that you hear about Colston Loveland, from Ben Johnson to those who are in just kind of in the trenches with the Bears, a lot of positive talk with Colston Loveland. And people that watched him at Michigan fans love Colston Loveland.
Well, you want to know who's somebody who saw him at Michigan?
Hub Arkish?
Yes, Hub Arkish. Also Roma Dunze, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
Roma Dunze played against Colston Loveland in Michigan, of course, in that national championship game, and Michigan won that game. Roma Dunze was asked about Colston Loveland today, and this was a pretty funny answer.
He's a baller, man. I hate him, though. Like, Michigan guy. I can't stand him, man. No, I'm just playing. No, he's got the ring on me, man. He got his signing bonus the other day, man. That guy's got everything. I'm telling you. No, it's ridiculous. But, no, he's awesome, man. He's been great, great in the locker room. He's been great in the meeting rooms, I'm sure. Out there on the field doing everything possible he can to, one, get back onto the field. And now that he's kind of getting good reps in, it's been awesome to see. Great hands, very agile, can block. So I think everything you kind of desire in a tight end. So really looking forward to his development and the year he's going to have.
He had to sing.
What's that?
He had to sing yet?
He did sing. He killed it too. He killed it. What did he sing? He said, "Mario, let me love you." Right? Is that the? He killed it. He killed it, man. I wish that was on the what's it called? Hard Knocks. Yeah.
Let Me Love You, Mario.
You know that song.
Sing it for me.
No, I'm not going to do that because I don't do that. That's your role. You know that song. Everybody knows that song.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
baby, I just don't get it. Do you really enjoy being hurt? I gotta hear it actually played. Where's Bro Delicious? Hook me up, Bro Delicious. That's great. Great answer. Competitive.
Well, meanwhile, Rome is great with the media.
Phenomenal.
And he's great talking about his teammates, and he is looking good too. Despite some of the offensive struggles, I've had no issues with number 15.
No. Yes, on the field and off the field. But to the theme of this, let's call it a mini segment here on Colston Loveland. Thank you, by the way, because that would really suck if you got that pick wrong. Yes, the Bears need weapons, as you said about 6 minutes ago. Yes, they do. And this dude could give the Bears all sorts of options with Cole Kmet, as that Ben can play with, and would hopefully be just a huge boon for Caleb.
Yeah. All right, we need to take our first time out. We do have a special guest coming up next because I had a chance to talk to JP Richardson today, who's been one of the standouts early, one of the rookie standouts, undrafted rookies, who's really made an impression so far, not only in the first few days of training camp, but also back in the spring. And he was really fun to talk to as well.
A lot of energy. You guys are going to like this. JP fans are growing all across Bears Nation.
So this is going to be a fun conversation coming up next with JP Richardson. But first, hey, just like your favorite team needs a home field advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage, and Empire Today can help you get exactly that. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. You've been to those big box stores, you wander all those aisles, and somehow you're bringing all this stuff home with you, and you got to find somebody to install it, coordinate it, everything yourself. And then they got, they might have a flooring department there, but the people working in that department might be working with sinks the day before. So that's why you go to Empire. It's your best bet for a new floor. Empire Today, they live and breathe flooring. They'll be with you every step of the way. They're going to pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space. You can see how it looks with your furniture in your house. Get precise measurements, take it, have all your questions answered so there are no surprises. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code CHGO. That's right, $350 discount with code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for full details.
And hey, let's put some property tax money back in your pocket. How do you do that? Well, you do it with our friends at Ownwell. It's a thing that's going on a lot in Cook County, and Ownwell is trying to look out for you. You can sign up in under 3 minutes, and their team of local experts and cutting-edge technology can start saving you money with no upfront cost, which is sweet. Look, Ownwell has a 25% contingency fee, which means that fee is only contingent on if they actually save you some money. 86% of people who go through the process of 3 minutes to work with Ownwell, they are going to get a reduction on their property taxes on average over $1,100. Save money on your Cook County property tax with Ownwell. Sign up in less than 3 minutes. Start your appeal today. Ownwell.com/cook. That's OWNWELL.com/cook. I peek behind the scenes. I'm sorry, Hoge. I got to cut you off here, but like I don't know this Mario song, and I just watched it, and Hoge was just singing it because apparently he does know it. So you're hippier than I've never heard that in my life. Hoge, meanwhile, just blasted it out. Maybe could be a shower action for you later today.
Yeah, that was weird. Okay.
It's a Saturday afternoon.
I don't sing in the shower. I think in the shower.
Oh, you think in the shower.
Of course you plan my day in the shower. I plan interviews like JP Richardson.
That's a good job by you.
In the shower.
I think you should start singing and planning and JPing, but go ahead.
No, I think about what I have to do that day, and then I wish I had my notebook in the shower with me so I could write it down, but that obviously wouldn't work.
Shower notebook.
They should. Well, if everything was laminated, I could write. That's a new level I could go.
You should be able to dictate.
I could write in the shower with my lamination.
Why can't you put your phone on the sink and then dictate to it, and then it'll go right into Hoge Notes?
I don't want my phone in the sink or the shower. No. All right. JP Richardson, to set this up a little bit, if you do not know who this guy is, JP Richardson is a rookie wide receiver out of TCU, played at Oklahoma State before transferring to TCU. He's a Texas native. Grew up outside Houston, thought he was going to be drafted, did not get drafted. The Bears signed him as an undrafted rookie. He is, slightly undersized. He's 5'11", 192. You'll see, not to brag, humble brag or whatever. I'm taller than him in the interview.
You just stand all over him.
Well, just for reference, if you see me doing an interview with a wide receiver, I'm 6'2". So then you can do the math off of that. I don't know. But
I'd kill to be 6'2".
Yeah. Well, here's 800 things he's better than me at, though. Route running, he's been getting open. Declan Doyle mentioned yesterday about how, he's very athletic. We talk about that in this interview. So he has stood out. He is your slot type of wide receiver who, if he keeps this up, is going to make it very, very, very hard for the Bears not to keep him around, whether that's on the 53-man roster or at least on the practice squad. But number 26, JP Richardson, is definitely one of these guys. There's a few of them every year that you notice early on in the spring, carries over to the camp, and you start to say, oh, we're going to have to watch this guy closely in the preseason games and see, if he can make this team. So fun conversation with JP Richardson, getting to know the rookie out of TCU. Here it is. We'll just jump right in, man. So you've been catching our eyes since the spring. Before we get into some of the specifics, just tell me a little bit about your journey, how you ended up here, why you signed with the Bears.
Sure. I feel like I've kind of been maybe a little bit overlooked just throughout my career. But I think the guys in the building where I've been, I'm two-time team captain, and I feel like I've been a leader at, when I was at Oklahoma State, I was a leader at TCU, and, I've just always thought, just do the right thing all the time and make sure I, obviously am a great teammate and just do everything I can to help the team win. And then ultimately that's what, has got me, this far. I felt like I was a guy that, was going to get drafted. I was pretty confident about that, and for whatever reason it didn't happen. But at the end of the day, I'm super happy to be here. This is an unbelievable place. We have outstanding leadership, and it's really just been just the best time ever being up here in Chicago. Like you said a second ago, just such a historic place. And sometimes when I walk in the building, I'm just pinching myself, going like, wow, like this is pretty awesome. I'm just living the dream, and ultimately just trying to make this team, and trying to do everything that I can. From back when we reported for OTAs until the end of training camp, just trying to do all the little things right, and then see where that gets me.
So you mentioned feeling like you've been overlooked most of your career, so the draft was kind of the same way. Are you a type of guy that gets on that practice field every day with that chip on your shoulder?
Absolutely, man. I feel like it gives me a little bit of an edge over some guys, is the chip that I carry every single day. I think I get a little little bit of that from my pops, maybe. Shout out to my dad.
I was going to bring him up. So he played quarterback for the Houston Oilers
Yes.
back in the 90s.
Yes,
you grew up in
yeah.
the Houston area.
Uh-huh.
What was that like having that type of dad?
It was awesome, man. I mean, he's, a guy that's obviously been there and done that. And so anytime he wants to talk ball and, be involved in any type of way with that, I'm all ears. He's a guy that, I guess people are always saying he was just the tough guy. I don't know, but I feel like I get some of that chip from him. I mean, he's always told me nothing will ever be handed to you. You know what I mean? You're going to have to go take it. You're going to have to go get it. You're going to have to work your tail off if you want to get to the top, if you want to be the best. So I've just, kind of carried that mindset with me. And, as long as I'm, it's the little things. And as long as I'm doing those little things and honing in on those details on a daily basis over and over, being consistent that way, sky's the limit, I think.
So how would you describe your game at the wide receiver position?
I think if I could describe it in one word, I would just say savvy. I feel like I'm a savvy guy. I'm pretty, I think, how do I say it? I don't like talking about myself, but I feel like I'm just solid at everything. I feel like I got some twitch to me in the, when it comes to, getting off the ball versus press
Declan
release.
Doyle mentioned that yesterday.
Did he?
Too.
Okay.
Said, like kind of
Okay.
when you're coming out stems at the top of your routes, and
Okay.
you have that twitchiness to your game.
Okay, cool. I didn't know that, but yeah. So I just feel like I just have this savviness about myself, just kind of that instinct that I feel like you can't teach, you can't coach. Is this, I don't know, this natural feel for the game that I bring, and of course I take a lot of pride in catching the ball, and I feel like it's a pretty rare deal where I put the ball on the ground. So I like to pride myself on that, and I feel like that's got me a long way as well. So
what's it been like? You show up here in Chicago, and there's a lot of excitement about Ben Johnson coming over. I'm sure you've watched the Lions the last few years, but what's it been like being in this system, learning this system? What stands out to you about it so far?
Well, I mean, I could tell why the Lions were so successful offensively. The past couple of years, Coach Johnson is. I mean, you could tell all he thinks about is football all day long. He eats, sleeps, and breathes it, and he brings that type of vibe, that type of energy into the building. Whenever he gets up and is doing his offensive installs, and he's just over communicating everybody's responsibility, and it's really cool to see him do his thing.
Yeah, so you've been working on mostly with the 2s and 3s so far. I'll ask you about Tyson Bagent first. Just what's it been like working with you? Because it seems like you guys have developed some chemistry already based on what I've seen in practice.
Maybe. It's still really early. It's still got a really long way to go. But, no, I mean, our quarterback room, man, they're outstanding. I mean, they're great on the field. They're great people, man. They're just willing to, help in any way that they can. They're just so hands-on and over-communicative on what they expect us to do on each given route. And if I ever have a question about anything, any play, that's something that happened in practice, I mean, I don't hesitate to go talk to those guys, because I mean they love football. All of them are just, like I said, great human beings. I'm super lucky to have those guys out here. So
well, it's been fun watching you so far. Carman, am I missing anything?
Appreciate it.
Well, but the Bears outlined the diving catch that you made with the one hand.
Oh, you should have brought that up.
Take us through that play real quick.
Sure. So I had kind of a little option route type of deal, and then so I broke out and didn't get the ball. Tyson started scrambling, so we're taught scramble drill, got to get vertical if nobody's over there. So went vertical, and Tyson, I mean, he makes my job easy. He puts it on the money, and it's up to me to just go make a play for him, and that's kind of what happened. Just saw the ball, and whenever that ball's in there, I just kind of zone out a little bit, if you would, just go into my mode, and I'm just trying to catch it. And so that's luckily, or maybe not luckily, but I'm glad that I had the opportunity to make that play.
I imagine that video started circulating among your friends and family, and get some text messages after that. Gets featured out there.
A little bit. My mom loves football, and so she's following everything. I mean, since I was in college, I mean, she's on all the boards and all that. And back in college, I mean,
you got a full Texas football family.
Oh man, my grandpa was a head football coach in high school, and he played in the league for a little bit, and. Like I said, my dad and my uncle played running back at Tech, and I mean, football's a very big deal from a very young age in my family, and so they definitely have kind of paved the way for me in that way.
It's the real Friday Night Lights right here.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
We love football.
Nice meeting you. Nice talking to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Nice to meet you. Yes, sir.
All right.
JP,
that got me fired up for high school football.
Dude, that guy is very likable. And we had a little, walking out with him. We asked him about whether he feels more comfortable as a punt returner or a kick returner. And he kind of jumped out of his skin talking about how much he likes to punt return. So, and he's hoping that he'll get an opportunity to do
I
that.
want him out there punt returning.
Let's go. Let's right?
go, HT. Let's.
He was honorable mention Big 12 special teams. He was top 10 in
country in punt return
in the country. Taking the tough job of being the punt returner. So, if I'm the Bears, the plays that he's making, let's see if you can really get value out of him and if he can do that job.
That's the job that gets him on the team.
Right. Exactly.
It really is. And by the way, right now we haven't really seen much. And mostly when it comes to punt return and kick return, you got to see that limited reps in the preseason to really judge it. But I was watching the punt returners yesterday, and the punt returners so far have been
Rome, Duvernay, who else?
Rome, Duvernay, Maurice Alexander, and Olamide Zacchaeus. So, and some of those guys were struggling catching the ball when I was watching yesterday. So, and when it comes to punt return, number one is catch the ball. Can't have muffs. You got to catch it. So I have a feeling that we'll see 26 in that mix at some point in the preseason. I would certainly like to see it, because if there's one way, it's a crowded wide receiver room right now. But hey, the longer Luther Burden's not out there on the field, he's supposed to be the slot guy. The more the doors open, Olamide's been the 14th catching passes.
Yep.
Every time you turn your head, Olamide Zacchaeus is catching a pass.
Right.
And behind him, the next standout with the 2s and 3s has been JP Richardson. So I don't know. If I'm Luther Burden, I try to get out there as fast as I can.
That's not how Luther's thinking about it. I think Luther is very much in belief that once he's out there, there is only one wide receiver on the team, and his name is Luther Burden, and he wears number 87.
For now. Until he changes his number before the season starts. All right. A lot more coming up. We're going to have Bragg join us in a little bit with some of the diehard questions.
Gregory.
And some questions. We will find out how many minutes he spent in his car since I last saw him at about 9:30 last night or whatever that was.
You guys spent way too much time together yesterday.
We did. Yeah, it was kind of scary.
Congratulations.
I enjoyed it. Played more golf than you did. Okay, we're taking a timeout. I also have we have some more Ben Johnson sound too, and we'll have a little bit more detail on Caleb Williams' better day. That's all coming up next. But first,
hey, is your home's air conditioning up for the challenge? Well, you will be up for the challenge if you use our friends at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. They've been serving the Chicagoland area for over 50 years, and now is that time to get your air conditioning checked out for the rest of summer. Four Seasons experts are at the ready with AC installation, maintenance, and repair. You can save up to $4,000 if you need a new comfort system with Four Seasons. New AC units, $39 a month. AC furnace combos, $57 a month. Schedule your Four Seasons AC tune-up today. Just want to tune up for security. You're going to save $50 and you're going to enjoy a 1-year no breakdown guarantee. That is sweet. Plumbing, electrical, heating, or cooling emergency. Need a new hot water tank or generator? Call 866-4 Your local trusted experts. Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visits fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons.
And if you were with us last season, you know we had an amazing trip to London, and then we backed it up a few weeks later with an amazing trip to Arizona. If you missed out on those, don't miss it this year, because we got another one for you coming. We're going to Las Vegas with True Fan Travel, our entire CHGO Bears crew. We're taking over to the Strip for an epic weekend in Vegas. You're invited to come with us. Join us as the Bears take on the Raiders in late September. It's an all-inclusive trip. You're going to get a 3-night stay at Mandalay Bay. You're going to get tickets to the game, which is huge. I don't know what you were just doing right there.
Eating the delicious food at Mandalay Bay.
Okay. VIP parties, unforgettable events with the CHGO crew and fellow fans, and much more. Do not gamble on missing the ultimate fan experience. Book your spot now at truefantravel.com. Right now, flights are expensive. Hotels are expensive. Game tickets are expensive. You can get it all included with True Fan Travel. All right, it is time to take the temp on Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. I'm pulling a little bit of an audible here.
Oh,
We're
wow.
going to talk
Wow.
offensive line,
Wow.
but you know,
Wow.
we need, you know what? Sometimes fans are listeners, and you know what? You guys are always right. First of all, isn't that the customer's always right?
Play the hits.
But you know, we spent a lot of time talking about the struggles. We need to talk about some of the good. Spend more time talking about some of the good today. So we will take the temp, which is brought to you by your trusted local experts at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. So, first of all, no, this practice was not perfect today. I still have plenty of X's, especially in what I would call team session number 2, where there were too many incompletions. But that's also when they dialed up the pressure. They brought Kyler Gordon on a blitz, somebody else on a blitz, back-to-back plays. So you might have heard, and we heard Declan Doyle talk about it yesterday. I know there was Albert Breer piece about it too, about how they're trying to bring some extra pressure at times. So it wasn't a perfect practice. What was good, though, what I liked, first of all, it was better overall. 7-on-7 was better today. I mentioned how he hit Colston Loveland. There weren't as many balls on the ground. He did get yelled at by Ben Johnson though once in 7-on-7, which we like. We want to keep that coaching going. But let's go to the situational period at the end of practice. I think there was 1:08 on the clock. And other than a very bad delay of game penalty in there, once they got down to the red zone, it was after a big completion. They just took too long getting down there, getting set up, getting the next play in. So it's a learning lesson. Caleb was not happy about it. But other than that, Caleb was perfect on that 2-minute drill, and it ended with what was your best of the day, that pass to Roma Dunze in the end zone, which was it was a well-thrown ball, contested catch, Rome's late hands that we like to talk about, putting them up there, making a nice play in the end zone. And then, you know, the Key and Peele skit with you can't have 3 thrusts. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know
the
that
end
one.
zone celebration one.
Okay.
Or like they're basically making fun of, you know, taunting or like how strict they can be in the NFL with the flags. So you're allowed to thrust twice, but once you do the third
thrust, bad thrust,
then you get a flag.
Yeah.
So that was Caleb's celebration. It was kind of funny.
Too many thrusts for Caleb today.
I enjoyed it.
We'll definitely take that as on the negative things to happen. That'd be great. If that's the only problem we have here. Look, it was. I just enjoyed seeing Caleb having some fun out there with the big enthusiasm, because this has to have been a fairly challenging week for him, and just you got to keep your spirit up through challenges of life, and he was on display doing exactly that. So I enjoyed seeing that. So that I would say that the temperature, as we take the temperature, was nice and cool for just feeling all comfortable for the. At least a lot more comfortable for the Bears offense. It was interesting. We could play a little clip here on as a little sidebar, because Ben was asked about whether or not, he's nervous, is he concerned, is there anything negative going on that he's seeing with the offense? And the answer to that was an emphatic no. So this was Ben Johnson this morning talking about that offense and his concerns or non-concerns as the Bears are, getting through their first week of training camp.
Yeah, we're not frustrated at all. We're right where we need to be. In fact, I told the unit last night to see where they came from the springtime to where we've been for 3 days. We're not having to coach alignment. We're not having to coach finish. We're not having to coach the standard, as you say. Now we're coaching football. Now we're reading coverage and we're able to accumulate reps. And like I alluded to before, the beautiful thing about it is our guys, man, they're learning. We're not making the same mistake twice. And that goes for the guy that's getting the rep, and that goes for the guys that aren't getting the rep. They're learning from everything. So, we're not frustrated whatsoever.
So, I'm going to say this. I still got to think human nature. There's probably been a little bit of frustration at times this week with some things. And we have seen it on the field a little bit with him getting after Caleb. That being said, the rest of that answer I love. And I do believe it. I do think that they have gotten, when you think about that first OTA we covered inside the Walter Payton Center, where they couldn't get lined up, where even Cole Kmet's getting yelled at, that has improved. Now, it's not perfect every day. There was still a false start today. We've seen moments. I if we're being honest, Caleb has been the worst of the three quarterbacks in getting them lined up and getting everything operationally set pre-snap, but it has gotten better, and it's even gotten better each day this week. And today was the fewest mistakes in that regard than we've seen. I honestly think it's gotten better each day.
We are jumping over a very low bar here, though. I understand that you got to run before you
walk
before you run.
My point is what he's talking about is true. So they're not having to coach as much as, that pre-snap stuff across the board. With the quarterback, yes, but how about the rest of the operation?
Fair, yes. All of that has gotten better. And when he was pressed on it, though, he was given an opportunity to really underline that we don't have any of those problems anymore. We walked it back. No. We still have some stuff to work on here. So to me, that clip is more, hey, I am going to protect my players. I'm going to speak positively. I'm not going to show if there are things that are not going perfect front facing. I'm not giving you that right now. You're not going to get, Ben Johnson in front of the media on week 1 of training camp saying real hardcore stuff. And I actually give him credit for that, because I don't think it really would do any good.
Yeah, but I think it goes beyond that. I mean, maybe I'll end up being wrong about this, but at this point in your implementation of a new system and a new coaching staff and everything's new, if you're still deep into training camp teaching those things, and I'm not, let's forget the pre-snap stuff for a second, because that is still a work in progress. The finish, the standard, which was the point of the question that was, I think it was Herb who asked the question. If you're still having to coach those things deep into camp, it means that you haven't set the standard. You have not set the identity of the football team. You have not gotten through to them at this point. And I do think that they have done that to this point. I think that everybody seems to understand what the standard is with this coaching staff. And for the most part,
I agree.
We are watching them coach football, which is the point of what he was trying to get at there.
I agree. I think, you could quibble on effort at maybe here and there at times, but not really. I agree. The standard of which they're going to play it, as far as, doing everything you can on each play, giving your best. Everything is on tape. We are paying attention. This is the Ben Johnson era. I believe that he's mostly happy with that.
All right, one more clip from Ben Johnson just on Caleb's development so far.
There really isn't a ton of carryover from what he was asked to do, the play calls or anything of that nature. I mean, he's always been very comfortable as a shotgun quarterback going back to college, and even last year. He's very comfortable in a 2-minute setting. He's very comfortable with tempo type plays. And so now we're asking him to be a little bit more structured in terms of the play calls. Sometimes there's multiple calls. There's shifts, there's motions. There's a lot more going on mentally than probably there's ever been for him. And so at some point, this thing will start slowing down, and he's going to be able to catch up, and his physical ability will take over from there. But right now, because mentally it is what it is, he's playing a little bit slower than what he's capable of.
I love that we're being honest about that.
That was spot on, beautiful.
Well, because that's what we're seeing. It's like taking what we knew about Caleb when they drafted him, taking what we saw from him as a rookie, taking what we're still seeing. Yeah, I guess my only negative spin on what I brought up positively when we started this whole conversation here in this segment was, yeah, we know he looks good in 2-minute drills when he's in shotgun and he's comfortable in that stuff, which is what Ben Johnson just said in that clip. We know that stuff. So let's just call a spade here. What he's struggling with, what he needs to continue to get better at, is the pre-snap stuff, the cadence stuff, and operating under center. And they really want him to learn these things because they think he's going to be a better quarterback long-term, just like Jared Goff evolved from the same type of shotgun type quarterback into now somebody who's heavy under center, who can run the play action Ben Johnson wants to run. It is not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be perfect by week 1. But if they can start this process now, squeeze a little bit out of it now, get some of it in here in year 1, then the thinking is year 2, year 3, just like it took. By the way, did you know Jared Goff's going into year 10 in the NFL? That's scary.
That is a quick life old, right there.
But the point is some of this stuff takes some time, and that is what he's going through right now. And I appreciate the honesty from the head coach on that.
Yeah, it was also covering like, oh, again, it's the same thing that he did the other day with DeAndre Swift. He underlined exactly who that guy was. What's different about it? Not a whole lot. He's always been like this. This is exactly who he is. And so he's showing once again he understands the player. This is what he's good at. Nobody would dispute any of that. And I think at some point here, the Bears will take the foot off the gas pedal and be like, okay, you're good at this, and this. So we're going to do a game plan around those things. Because I don't think they're going to throw them out there to the Wolves week 1, week 2, week 3 and be like, let's see if you can do the hardest thing that we got for you against the Minnesota Vikings. They're not going to do that. They're going to try to win games. So this is, well, we'll do it for you right now and see how much you can actually digest. And then we can do more things on game day, hopefully when we get there. But if we can't, we will, I would think, pivot to this is what works and we're going to have to win doing these things.
All right, final break of the show coming up right now, and then we'll hear from our good friend, our pal, our golf buddy, our very own Gregorius P. Allen Braggs joins the show next after putting 300 miles on his car in the last 2 days. That's all coming up. But first, Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake is firing off fireworks with big savings all month long. Coming today, shop the Freedom to Save sales event and drive home with $10,000. I said $10,000 off MSRP on new Chevrolet models, or check out their selection of over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. They're one of the top selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest. So because of that, they're able to keep their prices competitive. So you know that you're getting a great deal. Plus, they have the raised price promise. We always tell you about it. You can shop confidently because the prices we talk about here on the show, the prices you might see online, that's the price you pay when you go into the store. So go see for yourself. Visit our partner at their convenient location right off Route 12 in Fox Lake. You cannot miss it. And don't miss out on their Freedom to Save sales event going on all month long for $10,000 off MSRP on new Chevrolet models. Shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com.
And shout out to our friends at Game Time Tickets. Yes, it is the only place for your last-minute tickets. Look, if you want to find tickets to anything from sports to concerts to comedy to theater, and you want to save up to 60%,
what if I want tickets to see the White Sox beat the Cubs again tonight?
You could absolutely do that. And let's get you involved because I have no tickets for you. I tried, so go to Game Time.
That's why I got Game Time.
That's exactly right. Game Time is going to credit you 110% of the difference, by the way, if you find any better deals on any other ticketing website. So that's beautiful. And yes, they do the fees up front, so no surprise fees at checkout. You don't want that sticker shock at the end. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code is CHGO, $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Game Time is the best.
Game Time greater than Carm.
Game Time.
Can't believe you didn't come through on those tickets.
It's really upsetting, but I tried, and it didn't happen. That's why Game Time is there, and Game Time is your answer, and Game Time is the best. And White Sox going for try to take the series tonight there, buddy.
Let's go. That reminds me, speaking of that, Greg, as he joins the show, we went golfing yesterday. We had a great time. We tied. Although I thought about the breakfast ball he took on the first tee, so maybe that's the tiebreaker. I'm not sure. And then we watched the White Sox just dismantle the Cubs together. I thought it was a great evening, Greg.
They were already dismantled by the time we got back to the clubhouse, so I didn't see this. But then, yes, the onslaught continued, so not fun. Not fun.
Are you worried about the Cubs collapse, Greg?
I think that Jed Hoyer's got to go make some moves. Thank you very much. It's the trade deadline, and I think the Cubs had done an admirable job up to this point, but now they need to bring in some reinforcements.
When the Bears lost 10 in a row last year, do you think the Cubs will lose 10 in a row in a similar fashion?
I don't think 10 in a row is in the cards for the Cubs, but never say never in this city.
All right. Yeah. Back to football.
Hey, but you're right though. I know you were talking about Game Time and how you didn't come through, Carm, but you could always buy me and Hoge tickets off Game Time.
I could. I very much could. I won't, but I could.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right. Greg, what are we doing here? This is your segment. This is your moment.
Thank you. Well, I guess I'll just start by, I don't have any like 3 observations, but it was great to hear Colston Loveland getting in the action yesterday. We didn't have a chance to talk about it, but he was in, early drills when it was just, offense running some simulated, throws without defense. And Colston had a nice catch in the end zone where you really saw his size and, just the way he went up and got it, had the shoulders a concern. It didn't look like there was any on that. So I was like, oh, he's looking healthy. And he looks the part in terms of like a NFL player that can be a real threat and a weapon. So to hear that he had a good day today is exciting. The ramp up period, at least in my opinion, is going a little faster than I thought for Colston Loveland coming into training camp. So that's really exciting. And let's hope Luther Burden is the same storyline here coming up next week. So that's my biggest takeaway here for today. That's awesome to hear. And we got some diehard comments, so we can get into those here as we're rounding third.
Yeah. And you know what? One more quick injury observation I threw in my notebook. We were really close to the running back drills this morning. And at one point, Ian Wheeler had such a nice cut that Eric Bieniemy actually was like, "Oh, nice cut."
Yep.
And it just, I've been watching him somewhat closely, but being that close to him, it's just kind of, that does not look like somebody coming off an ACL. Like he looks like he's fully healed. That's really good.
Yeah, you're Ian Wheeler curious. You've got some Ian Wheeler curiosity going on right now, which that in the preseason games, watching who can do what.
Well, he was kind of like our JP Richardson last year. He was the guy that we're like, oh, he's an interesting undrafted, and then he just kept performing, and then he carried it over to the preseason games, and then
he got hurt.
But that also gave the Bears, you'd much rather have him not hurt. I get it, but it gave them the opportunity to sort of stash him on IR for the year, let him be in the building, let him do the rehab through there. Now, unfortunately, the offense all changed, so he had to hit the reset button just like everybody else did with the offense. But the fact that he looks good to me, and that doesn't seem to be something that's holding him back or hurting his reps, I think is very, very interesting. So continue to keep an eye on number 33, Ian Wheeler, in the preseason.
We'll let Carm work on his the Wheeler in the Sky Keeps on Turning rendition here.
There we go.
Forward.
The Wheeler in the sky keeps on turning.
I said we need to work on it, not try it out, not live on the air.
It's not bad. That's not bad. I'll come up with something that won't be that song because I have to do my own thing, and I'm just too competitive just to pick off that one. What else you got?
I got some diehard questions. We'll get in here. I know it's it's Saturday, so I want you guys to get to your weekend as well. I know we appreciate everyone tuning in. Please hit that like button. And if you want to become a diehard, allchgo.com/diehard, you can get your questions in as we continue to cover training camp in our Discord lounge. And a lot of Bears fans having great conversation every day. And then they submit their questions, and that's how they get read on the screen. So Kyler Gordon, super fan, says, how big of a piece can Loveland be as a rookie? Do you think he has more snaps than Cole over the year, or at the very least down the stretch has more snaps during games?
You or me? I'll go. It's going to depend on if he can actually be on the field and block. Like how well can he block? How well can he keep whatever assignment is in front of him off the quarterback for the 2 seconds that it's going to require? If he can do that, he'll be on the field at time.
But it gets even more complicated beyond that. I mean, based on what we've seen in practice so far, I would say no. I think Cole, I've said this earlier in the offseason, I still think the same thing. I think the first quarter of the season, I would almost guarantee that Cole Kmet has a higher snap percentage. Now, does Colston earn more over time and then kind of slowly takes it over? I think that's not takes it over completely, but at least takes over the majority of the snap share. Is it more even? It's possible, but there's so many variables that go into that, including what type of team does this become? Is this a run-heavy team? Is this a team that all of a sudden Caleb's clicking and they got so many weapons and Luther Burden's out there too and they're just pass-happy and they're moving the football? And then you're probably going to have Colston Loveland out on the field more because that's going to help you create mismatches. So there's just so many different variables that are going to go into this. I think it's an impossible question to answer at this point. I think it's a great question, though. But but more so than anything, regardless of who ends up with more snaps when the season's over, I really am bullish that it's going to work. Because Cole looks great too so far.
He does.
Camp.
He does.
Really does. So, and that's not a bad thing. It would be really good if the Bears have 2 good tight ends.
It's almost reminiscent of basketball fans get overly, especially in college, will get overly obsessed with who's starting, like who the starting 5 are, when really it's about those rotations in the pivotal moments of the game or at the end of the games. So in that reference, if you tried to compare it to football, who are the guys that are getting the targets in the red zone? Who are you going to in those clutch moments or at the end of games? And I think both guys certainly have those opportunities. It doesn't, I'll continue to bring the stat up. I've said it 100 times. It's probably going to be the only mathematical stat I give you on this show. So I'll just keep saying it all year. But Ben Johnson with Detroit last year, they had 12 personnel on 32% of their plays. It was 3rd most in the NFL. I wouldn't be surprised if that percentage goes up because last year their second tight end in Detroit was Brock Wright. This year you have Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland. So you have a real opportunity. That's a huge asset when you talk about make the same things look different and make different things look the same. You have that ability right in front of you with Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet. You have so many different options at your disposal if you're Ben Johnson. So I think where fans need to look at.
No doubt.
What else we got?
Yes, sir. We'll move on to the next one, Steven. Pull up whatever you got. Matt Brown says, have you seen something funny happen on the field yet? Also, Ben Johnson is known for trick plays. Have we seen any formations that can lead to trick plays?
Well,
there was something that happened today that I thought was trick play, but I don't even know what the hell was going on, to be honest.
Okay, so it's a tricky. Appreciate the question. If there even was a trick play, we actually wouldn't be able to tell you it. Just part of the rules that we're kind of bound under by our opportunity to be able to see practice. But to be honest, have not seen a lot of that. So we saw some of it in the spring, but have not. And then of course, remember the one thing that did go very public because it was like filmed and the Bears even put it out there was when they had the offensive lineman catch the passes at the end of OTAs. So it's in there. But look, Ben said today they're on day 4 of 12 days of install. So, they're still with the basics. I think we'll see more of it come up. I also think we'll see him hide some of that stuff. And then what was the first
when he asked if there was anything funny that's happened? I know on that one video the Bears shared on social of Antoine Randall getting hyped, running down the field with DJ Moore on that play. I mean, that at least for what we've seen from a content perspective, that stood out for me.
Caleb's, I mentioned in the last segment, Caleb's touchdown celebration today was funny. It was the Key and Peele thrust thing. Should I do it?
Too many pumps.
Woof.
Yeah, too many pumps.
Yeah.
That was funny. I think they pulled out. I hope they do that.
Afternoon delight. So sorry, I did not expect that Hoge was going to go full thrust on the show. That's amazing. Good job. I thought it was remotely humorous yesterday that when Keenan was coming off and Bajan was coming on, Bajan stuck his hand out to him. Keenan didn't see it.
Are you saying Keenan or Keenum?
Keenum.
Okay.
I thought he said Keenan too. I understood once he started.
Not Keenan Allen. I forgot that he ever was a Bear. He had his hand out. Keenum didn't see it. Left it out there, walked towards him, and then Keenan finally got it, and then he got the 5. Okay. That was a great teammate right there. Not necessarily super funny, but if you're lucky for a little behind the scenes, little something.
This team's all about business. No fun.
Okay. Someone's having some fun out there.
I'm having fun always. Hey, all right, here's a quick one, then we'll hit overtime real quick. It'll be a short overtime today. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We can go back to overtime. I know we're hitting the top of the hour. If you guys want, I apologize, Hoge. It just feels like you might have to go ahead, Hoge.
Well, if you would like to be one of the amazing people that are asking these questions, that's part of being a diehard, and you can do that by going to allchgo.com/diehard. You can scan that QR code on your screen. You can also get our exclusive limited time offer with Hoge and Johns coming over. Just go to hogeandjohns.com. It's really hard to avoid being a diehard at this point, if we're being honest. You should just jump right in. I saw a tweet a little while ago, somebody who'd signed up for that hat, $59 for year one, gets an awesome branded Bills hat with the Hogan Johns and CHGO logos on there. If you want to just get the t-shirt, it's only $36. It's a great deal. You get all the perks of being a diehard, including 20% off all merch, 20% off all events. And now we're going to hit you up real quick on overtime with more. All right, Greg, let's get that question back up there. We'll address that and then get to super chats and then try to enjoy our short weekend here.
That's right. Perfectly executed overtime. Well done by everybody. Mr. Ferrier says, how does 12 installs compare to both how many installs they tried last year and the league average? Like, is Ben trying to install a normal amount for Caleb or way more?
Great question. Have no idea. That is a question I can try to do some asking behind the scenes, though. I don't know how many actual installs they typically do.
Yeah. My install information is light and McFerrier. That's an excellent question by you. You're an elite McFerrier or Mr. McFerrier. What was it, Mr. Ferrier?
Yeah, there was no Mick in there.
Okay. The eyes don't have it. Sorry, Mr. Ferrier.
How were the eyes when you were taking photos and posting them on Twitter earlier today?
Yeah,
I think you were drunk.
I thought my photos were great. I don't know what you're talking about, or Emma was talking about, or probably Braggs was telling Emma and you to yell at me for.
No, Greg had nothing to do with that.
I didn't.
It was just me looking at our Twitter account and going, this is terrible.
I thought it looked great. So, little off center, little poor angle.
Blurry.
Yeah.
Thank God Johns came in because he's a great photo.
That was not on the scouting report. Johns
does a good photo.
You know what?
Better than
we're
me.
gonna have to make a move though from his little side angle spot he sits at and make him actually go sit in the front row.
I like the side shots he's been getting. He's doing a phenomenal job. Now, Carm, you always know, like when you're asking someone to take a picture, there's always that one person not to ask because they don't know how to frame it. They're gonna mess it up with the lighting, and that is Mark Carman. You do not want him taking your picture of you and your friends, or if you're standing there with don't ask him.
I'll tell you this though. He did shoot that JP Richardson interview today.
Yeah.
Now I do think the heads could have been just a little bit slightly higher in the frame, but overall, I think that's a solid A- performance.
Yeah.
By Mark Carman.
I think
on the
you're
JP.
grading on a curve there, Hogue, but
I am. It's called the Carm curve.
Yeah, the Carm curve. Okay.
My arm was hurting. I hung in there. It was
it's not easy. I'll give you that. That's not easy to execute. So, way to be a good teammate, Carm. All right, let's get to the last couple and then we'll all go enjoy our weekend. I think I'm having cat number 2 show up at my doorstep here in a minute. So, Evil Olive.
GTNL's coming by.
What's that?
I'm sorry. Keep going.
Shut up and let me read this, and then you can say whatever you want. Evil Olive says, a lot of talk about body language during the offseason, during the moments of offensive struggles last year. What are the players showing?
Body language is great, Evil Olive. Body language has been strong. DJ Moore got up in 0.8 of a second. The body language is the body language you want late at night or early in the morning. It's good body language.
Yeah, I thought I did. No body language issues so far. He got a little dicey yesterday during that.
The only bad body
7-on-7.
The only bad body language I've seen is when Montez Sweat speaks to the media. That's bad body language. He does not like doing that at all. In fact, I think we should request somebody else. I know we want to hear from him, but he hates it. That's what it seems like, at least.
I'm not worried about it. All right.
Do I get to know what he said about the new cat, or are you guys gonna just do I gotta go back and watch the show?
Wait, what?
What did he wanted to know? I don't think he heard you say cat.
What did you think?
New cat?
Yeah.
Who's got a new cat?
See, he didn't even know what he was talking about.
Does Greg have a new cat?
Yeah, we're getting a cat here in a minute. Jenny's picking it up.
The TTNL guy showing up is what he said.
Yeah, that. Oh, you're getting a new cat right now?
Yeah, Jenny's bringing it home.
What's the cat's name?
I don't know yet.
What's the name of your first cat again?
Cheeto Burrito Bandito.
That's amazing. Also, you're slowly turning into Matt Eberflus.
Good God.
Okay. Good luck with the new cat. That sounds great. Really good use of your time.
Thank you. We have a very loving home. And
You do.
Another cat to our humble abode. Okay.
I've been sleeping in my office this entire show.
Yeah. Hoge has 2 great cats. Inspiring. Matt Brown says, is there a long snapper competition or does Daly have it locked up? And this is, I think, the most proof of just how diehard our CHGO Bears diehard are, because this is the most diehard question you guys will receive all training camp.
It's probably the only show that can answer this question too.
Damn right. What do you have to say? Because I have no idea.
I think there's a sliver of a competition in the way that there's always competition. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Because otherwise,
who is the backup long snapper right now?
It is
on your sheet.
You've got Elkin from Iowa.
So Elkin is solid. He can spin it.
And he was the guy who snapped to Tory Taylor at Iowa.
Of course.
So
he's got a good rotation.
I think that there's only a
Daly got banged up last year. Elkin versus Daly.
I was going to say, if there's an injury in the preseason or if for some reason Daly struggles, I do think there is a world in which the snapper could change. Now, remember, the Bears have this roster exemption going on right now, so I can't even be like, well, is it worth having an extra guy on? They have 91 players, so
that's what downtown Matt Brown does for you. He'll bring in out of nowhere. Everyone's looking at who's going to emerge as the 6th wide receiver. He'll give you an Elkin versus Daly. That's awesome.
Okay, we got one more, and then I know we got a few supers. And then I'm leaving.
Dave Mann says, would the perception be different of Caleb's performance if this were his rookie season?
Yes.
Would it be better to look through it in the lens of given the poor quality of coaching last year, and now Ben Johnson is tearing Caleb down to the studs?
Dave Mann, it would look different. It isn't his rookie year. It is his second year. It is unfair to him. The Bears did not do him a great service by.
But I think it is being looked at in that perspective.
There are plenty of people. Yes.
No, he's not a rookie, but he didn't have the most ideal rookie year. So he's not going to be held to the same standard that Jaden Daniels will be in Commander's camp, or the same standard that CJ Stroud was held to last year in Houston's camp, where he struggled to meet those expectations. So, I think people are looking at it correctly at this point.
He is going to be under the microscope, and he is going to be given a lot of benefits of the doubt at the same time because of what the Bears have done. I think that's all accurate. Just like it's accurate that we missed you today, Greg, and I really would have loved to have seen your training.
I don't want to hear it. We're moving on. I know how much you enjoy my misery. I'm not even taking it.
I was looking forward to Crystal being there today. And
yeah, you can be upset for Crystal. I know you're happy I wasn't there. Now shut up.
I just don't know why you drove north when you seem to have plenty of information that you didn't need to do that.
I wasn't
clearly we didn't, because it didn't rain there. So I'm with you at the beginning. I know I've been hard on the Bears about where the practice field was yesterday or streaming the press conferences, what they continue to not do, but I'm not going to be hard on them about their decision today. It's obviously very disappointing for fans. We had one fan drive from Iowa.
I think we have a super on that, don't we?
Yes, 6 hours. So it's very hard on some of these fans. People fly in for this literally, and it's a coin flip. The weather can't be controlled, and it was a tough spot for the Bears. Were damned if they do, damned if they don't, because if they had let everybody in and then there's thunderstorms, it's a safety concern for not just the players, but the workers there and the fans. So I totally understood why they had to make a decision, even though the rain ended up, staying away. So it is what it is.
All right, we got some big super chats here. Let's go through them, especially Craig Leach coming in big time, but we can go in any order you want, Steven. Zero Demon, $10. Best of the day, watching CHGO. We appreciate that. Worst of the day, Montez's interview was hard to watch and listen. Did it feel that way in person?
It sure did.
Yeah, I think Carm's made that very clear in this show, but,
it's fine.
It's okay.
It's fine.
Craig Leach, $20. Real Friday Night Lights. Great interview, CHGO. JP is a good bet. Yeah, if you tuned in late and you missed our interview with JP Richardson, I'd go back and check it out. I think we'll probably post it separately on the YouTube channel as well.
Right, we will.
Another one from Craig. Craig with another $20. Carm's sarcasm is so much stronger when Braggs isn't sitting next to him. Carm, do something with that hair. This is live.
I find that really hard to believe that his sarcasm is stronger when I'm not there. I would have thought that would be the opposite.
I'm afraid that you're going to hit me, so I dial it down.
Well,
I think that's
you know what? Your fears are valid. HR. Craig Leach, $20 super chat. Great bets, especially if you aren't home enough for a dog. Have a great weekend, all at CHGO.
You're the man, Craig.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate
total
it, Craig.
$60 there. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, make sure you reach out to me on Instagram or something, Twitter, whatever, Craig. Gonna talk to you a little bit. I appreciate all your support that you've shown us through the off season.
And Khalid with $2. Is Caleb's deep accuracy getting better?
No, it's not. It isn't. It's not even close to getting better. It's exactly the same, and it's not close. But maybe someday it will be.
We really haven't seen that many deep balls.
We certainly haven't seen any deep balls that have been completed.
Oh, that's true. Okay, we'll get there. It's a process. All right. Congrats in advance to the White Sox on sweeping the Cubs.
You know, when you did this when we were in Indianapolis, you jinxed it. So just keep talking, okay?
That's fine. I get 1 week in a year where I can.
Right.
Probably
Your
one
guys
day where
World Series. You understand this. Yeah, I also do want to quickly give a shout out before you go, because I know we're going to get to families, but I want to give James Hoge a shout out. He is an unbelievably impressive golfer. Mark, I told Steven about this. James is as impressive. I would have never imagined in my wildest dreams how good he is at golf.
Wow.
And it was like he parred a par 3. He hit it over the water that many people I think have lost their balls on. He honestly, he had like par, bogey, par. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It was so impressive to watch. So shout out to James, and Adam deserves a ton of credit too, because he is a great teacher. He is a great dad. I mean that, Hoge. I'm not blowing smoke here. I was very impressed with and I already knew this about you, but just watch it in its totality and how you maneuver of teaching him and knowing when to be hard, and critical of the swing and just everything. And then the soft touch and the love you have for both your children. You are an A+ dad, and you deserve a ton of credit, and you're a great teacher, great mentor.
Well done.
And it is inspiring even as a dad myself. So shout out to you.
Thank you. That was very nice of you.
And it's I'll echo all those sentiments. And yesterday I didn't get to golf with you guys because I had some obligations that I had to take care of. So I really sorry I missed mainly because of that story. I'm sorry I missed
How quickly is he going to make this about him, Greg?
No. Well,
I know. We were so happy you weren't there.
Well, I wanted to add on.
We were so happy you weren't there because we were able to play good golf because you weren't there.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
But before you golfed, James was slinging slap shots by me down here. He was
a hockey guy, man. He's full hockey Hoge.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah. Well, I want to just thank James for that read he gave me on that putt on hole number 6, which I still haven't parred, even though I live on it. It's really sad. But yeah, he made a great putt on that hole, and then I did the same exact putt. It's phenomenal. Yeah. Thank you, Greg. That was very nice of you to say.
Well, I mean it. It was very cool to watch.
I hope he's watching right now. He might be.
I don't think so. He was up there drawing away, and I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, this is the grass," and I'm like, "I see." I'm like, he was fired up, so he seemed pretty busy. I doubt he's bored enough to put this show on. Thank you to everybody out there that is the diehards that are watching on this Saturday. We love you.
Huge crowd watching today. We greatly appreciate it. And tomorrow we sleep, because there is no Bears practice. It is an off day. We will be off tomorrow ourselves, and then right back at it early Monday morning. Pads go on Tuesday. Very excited about that. And let's see, we will have a new Hogan Johns episode for you on Monday as well. So look out for that. A couple more of those coming your way next week. Week 1 of camp officially in the books. It's been fun. It's been a grind. Let's hope the Bears keep getting better. And hopefully the weather cooperates too, because we don't want to have any more days like today.
Greg, I hear they might have an open practice tomorrow. It's not 100% confirmed.
Is this the open practice for the softball team? Because I'm okay.
I think you probably should get up at 4 and come out here because it might happen.
All right, just shut up, okay?
He's got a tea time in an hour. Yeah, I don't think you're going to make it.
Yeah, well, I'm not sleeping tomorrow. I'm golfing tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Did you cancel your tea time?
Yeah, I canceled today.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
What did you shoot this morning?
I got 13. I got to 13, and then a monsoon came through. So, but I was dialed. Come on now. You saw it yesterday. I'm dialed in. Jason Lassiter says, $5 super chat. Welcome back, fellas. Glad to see and hear you guys again. God bless, and I hope this season is a blessed one for all of you. Take care. You as well, Jason. Appreciate you. And before we get going, certainly want to give a shout out one more time to Circa Sports. Appreciate all their support here. You got to hit up Circa Sports Illinois for all your gambling needs. So appreciate
download your new bookie today, circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Circa Sports powering our CHGO training camp coverage. And yes, I have to give him credit. That dude has gotten a lot better at golf. He is good.
Wow, he threw out the good word.
He's good on the Greg curve, just like we did the Carm curve earlier. He's the curve when he first started playing.
I mean, the guy's
like
this is only my 3rd summer playing, so I just in that trajectory in year 6, I'm gonna be like pro level. If we're going off of this trajectory,
you remember his swing when he started. It made Charles Barkley look like Tiger Woods. Now he's just like pounding drives right down the middle.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
And it looks normal. It looks like a normal golf swing.
Okay.
Trust me, I don't want to be reporting this now.
I know, I got it.
But just like I don't want to report the days where Caleb's not playing well, I have to report the truth.
Well,
and this is true. He has gotten way better at golf, and
it actually makes me more annoyed because like back then he'd be like, I'm good at golf. I'm like, no, you suck. And so now he's like actually at the point that he was talking when he was 3 years ago. So, because obviously you couldn't be good at golf because you just started, but his ego was so big that he would just tell everybody that he was good at golf, and it was annoying. And now he's gotten there. So, congratulations. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. We did it. We did it.
Yep.
Never mind, I had 2 blown knees through this process, but I did it.
Okay.
Probably helped you.
Appreciate everybody watching, listening.
Yeah, we apologize for the last 38 seconds.
Yeah, we had
maybe 3.5 minutes.
And
I got an
hour and 17.
That too.
It's been fun. He's already packing up, even though he's nowhere to go. Well,
that's true. I don't.
Do you even want to come on screen while he's laying in bed before we finish up?
Yeah, you want to see the grundle?
Where's Steven's Grundle, our newest Bears pod? It's on Tuesdays at 6, right
before.
You
know, Carman, I'm glad you brought it up. I was actually wanted to shout something out that you've to be a little involved. I see Tyson Bagent here. You posted this on his Instagram. It was him carrying someone, and I noticed something in the background here. There's Carm creepily photographing him.
That's a great job. That's a great job by you. That's totally me. I 100%. That's 100% me. I totally did that.
I saw it on Instagram. I got a kick. I'm like, who's that guy just off? Oh, it's Carm. I could see the CHGO shirt there.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, that great job, phenomenal job by you, Steven. Because it was, I was down there and I'm like, oh my God, he's carrying this guy. I gotta get a video of that. So I ran to the road to get it, and I just got.
I like that you couldn't keep up with him at all while he carried another human being. You're like a mile
I didn't have a good angle to get there. That's a great job.
Speed.
That's very funny.
Oh my Lord. That's what a great way to end the first week of training camp coverage here on CHGO. We will be back Monday bright and early with practice coverage. I think our show is going to be be at 1:00 on Monday. I'm making that call. It's at 1:00 on Monday. So we'll talk to you then. Enjoy your Sunday. We'll see you on Monday.
We all silly like the mayor.